Good evening, everybody. This is Mike Banner. That sound is just This is Mike Banner. Getting so much feedback that we can't get something done here. Oh, now it's better. All right, we're going to start again. Mike Banner here, coming from not the the beautiful WeBeam TV studio, but still from my dining room table, as I'm still quarantining myself just a little bit, but soon we'll be back in the studio. But I want to welcome everybody here. I appreciate it. I want to thank last week's guest, Mr. Mark Goldberg, one of the top people, if not the top person in the long-term care insurance industry in the nation. We had a tremendous amount of viewers, and I want to thank everybody for being here last week. So tonight we have a great guest as well, but before we introduce that person, if this is the first time you've ever joined 62 Who Knew, let me give you just a little synopsis of what we are and why we're here. 62 Who Knew is about the double-edged sword, okay, the mixed blessing, if you would, of longer lifespans. Everyone, when they get to the age of 62, every generation that has preceded me, my father, his father before him, you get to that age of 62, you're approaching it, and we all have the same thoughts. Have I saved enough money? Should I pay off the house? Should I continue working? Should I take my Social Security now, or should I defer it till a later age? Should I make my investments more risky to get a better return, or should I make them less risky since I'm not at the prime income earning years of my life? Do I still need my life insurance? What about long-term care insurance? What about a reverse mortgage? That may be a good idea. The questions actually never end. And we all have the same questions, generation after generation, as we approach the age of 62. Except for my generation. I'm going to be 62 in 19 days, and my generation has one different obstacle to overcome than any preceding generation. And that obstacle is longer lifespans. Yes, in today's country, if you live to be in your early to mid-60s, the odds are better than 50-50 that you're going to make it to age 90. And it's about 40% that you could make it to 90 and 95. And with all the medical breakthroughs and all these scientific discoveries that are in the process of happening, that number could well be 100 in the next decade. So who knew at 62 that we could still have half the time we've been here on this planet still ahead of us? And the point of the matter is, less than 1% of this great nation has the ability to retire at age 62 and live a high quality of life to age 90 without assistance, without working, without the use of home equity, without many tools, annuities, investments, stocks. And the whole purpose of this TV show is every week we bring on a national expert to talk about a myriad of topics that I just mentioned and even more. That's what 62 Who Knew is about. We've been on the air for about a year and 4 months. We are now up to about 80,000 viewers per week, which we're very proud of. So obviously the theme of 62 Who Knew has caught on with the public. And starting very soon, we're going to be changing our airing time from 7 p.m. to 5 p.m. We think that's even going to increase our viewership even more. So that's what 62 Who Knew is about. We have a lot of great guests coming in the next 30 days, talking about some amazing topics that affects us all and our families. But tonight we're going to talk about something that's very timely and relevant today. Tonight we bring back one of our favorite people. He's been here before, Mr. Johnny Loewy, known nationally and internationally as one of the greatest real estate trainers in the country. He was named by the Wall Street Journal as a top 50 realtor in the United States of America. That year he sold 365 homes. Think about that, 365 homes in 1 year. came to Florida several years ago and is the president and founder of a Wine-Right Real Estate, one of the newest national franchises in the country, domiciled right here in Clearwater, Florida. It's been open less than 3 years and is already in the top 10 of Florida. No one knows the national real estate market as well as Mr. Loewy, and we're bringing him on tonight to talk about the effects of COVID-19 and buying homes and what it's done and how we're all doing business in such a different way. So without further ado, John, let's bring up Mr. Johnny Loewy. And there he is. Welcome, my friend. Thank you for coming back and doing this.
How are you, Michael? Good to see you, my friend.
Doing great, doing great. I love your new haircut. Love it. Styling.
Hey, I turned 50 and I said, you know what? I turned 50 and I said, I got to change the haircut. I'm trying to, fit in and get the whole younger look. So anyway.
Well, you already got a young, beautiful blonde wife. You don't need the new look. I need the look.
She's awesome.
My daughter changed my hair a few months ago, and I like it.
You look great.
I'm getting there. This is a good look for me. It doesn't show anything from here down. It's a great look. Yeah, I have the perfect look for radio, but we went with internet TV. So
I love it. I love it.
It has been a weird 2020, hasn't it, my brother? It's if we would look all the planning meetings you and I have, and all the times that we sit and break bread with each other in January, even early February, would we have thought that we were 30 days away from masks, from gloves, from realtors not being able to go into houses for months? Thank God you were you were listed as essential people. Appraisers not being able to go into houses. Who would have thought this?
It's insane, Mike. I mean, I'm going to tell you, I've been through in almost 30 years of my real estate career, being a real estate agent, a realtor, and a real estate broker, and also a trainer. I can share with you, I've been through 2 severe downturn markets. This is a unique market. This is a unique situation. Now, what we're experiencing is kind of pretty crazy, to be quite honest. It hit, and when it first hit, what we saw in the real estate market, we saw about 2 to 3 weeks that there wasn't anything new coming in. Wasn't a lot of new stuff. It was almost like if this were, I'm going to show my age, if this were a cassette tape playing, somebody hit pause on the cassette tape. I don't even know if the 8-tracks had the pause. I know the cassettes had pause on it. So it obviously threw the world into a spin. We had no idea what to expect. I had folks calling me from all over North America saying, John, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? I said, guys, I've been in 2 down markets. You got to give me a little bit of time to, figure out a plan. I said, this is just a crazy situation. So, like anything, we hit the first 2 to 3 weeks. We saw a massive slowdown. And then shortly thereafter, we started to see contracts were starting to pick back up and starting to come back in. Listing inventory, which for those of you folks who are out there and not sure what I mean when I say listing inventory, this is folks who are putting their house on the market for sale. I found that those numbers, they still haven't quite recovered fully, but though it has come back. Now, again, 2 to 3 weeks, we saw a major slowdown. Then it started to creep back up. I would say 60 days in, market looked like it was taking about a 30% adjustment. Now it seems to be back up. It kind of slingshot back up. So we're seeing a mad rush now of people who are getting out there buying. And it's funny because, I had a family member. We got together on Sunday for a nice family get-together. It's kind of funny. My sister thought, food for thought, funny story. My sister says, you got to come over for dinner for Father's Day. I'm making pork and dumplings and this beautiful dinner. And I said, that sounds wonderful. So she texts me. She says, dinner's going to be ready in an hour. Are you guys coming? And I said, oh, okay. I get there and I said, I'm all confused. I thought I was coming over for Father's Day. She says, yeah, I thought today was Father's Day. So anyway.
Yeah, well, you get 2 Father's Days.
I get 2 Father's Day dinner, so it was great. But we were sitting down and she said, I said to her, the market has slingshotted back. And she said, you know what I think? I think people think they're going to get quarantined again, and they're trying to get out and change what they have to quarantine in. I said, you might be right. I do see the numbers climbing, but real estate sales are still happening. Now, of course, we're taking some pretty big steps to encourage folks to continue to shop because, the governor of the state of Florida and the president of the United States deemed real estate services as a essential service. People need to be able to live and people need to be able to move. So we're trying to work with that market, as you know. But it was pretty drastic. But now we figured out how to work within the market and to keep people safe. And we certainly can chat about that. But unfortunate, I think the market's it's definitely coming back. And I think our purchase sides, buyers purchasing, I think we're about where we were pre-COVID, or pretty darn close. Listings, not quite. So folks are a little nervous about putting their house on the market, but there are things that we can do to help them feel a little bit safer, if you would. But certainly if, they have pre-existing or anything like that, they certainly need to rethink it on what they're doing to make sure that they're playing it absolutely safe. So
what is your opinion? There's about 20 states, of which here in Florida, where we are, there's about 20 or 22 states that are now showing higher people infected. I mean, it's not even close, and more deaths than they were to even prior to opening up the country. Now, there's no doubt so many people being tested is a huge factor in that number growing. But I know it is scaring a lot of people.
Well, I got to tell you, I don't know if anybody else noticed, but you don't even really hear that much about COVID anymore. Now it's the riots and the this, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I want to get a new bumper sticker that says all lives matter.
Yeah, I wish everybody felt like that.
Oh, anyway, it's crazy, but I do think that, obviously all of us can predict what's going to happen, but I think that we'll probably wind up being forced to potentially do another shutdown and quarantine ourselves again to try to control it, or maybe mysteriously something will come up medically that can maybe save the day for us. But as far as real estate related, I mean, I can tell you what we did. I mean, we took a stand, and Michael, you were so gracious and so kind to be able to support what we did. We got nervous, folks. We said, well, my gosh, this is how we all earn our living. We have to be able to help folks who need to be able to transition to a new home. How can we accomplish this? So I went ahead and I found masks, and it was funny. It was crazy to me, Michael. I went ahead and I was able to purchase over 20,000 vinyl gloves, over 12,000 surgical masks. We bought 2,000 KN95 respirators, and we bought them originally for our people, right? We bought them for our agents, and our agents to be able to give them to our customers. And then when we bought them, we started talking to local medical professionals, and they were saying, how did you get masks? I said, what do you mean, how did I get masks? I went online. How does anybody get masks? And we were so appalled at the bureaucracy that the hospitals and the nursing homes and big hospitals couldn't get masks and couldn't get the necessary safety gear. Why? Because they had contracts with certain medical companies that said that they had to order from those companies, but those companies were out of stock. So what did we do? Michael, I got to go on record. Michael Banner, his company, his organization, Professional Mortgage Alliance, I called him up. I said, Michael, we need to donate masks to these hospitals. I said, Doctors Hospital. I said, there's a chemotherapy center right here in Tampa. I said, Michael, they don't have anything. We took half of all of our stuff, half of our supplies. We took over 5,000 surgical masks, over 1,000 KN95 respirators. We took thousands and thousands of gloves, and we distributed them. And it was cool. The news picked up, one of the stories of when we donated to Doctors Hospital was so awesome. And they were so appreciative. People were crying when we were giving them the mask, and it touched our heart. So, with that, we're now supplying all surgical masks, gloves to every realtor in our organization. And we actually bought it on behalf of a company and also with pooling our resources with getting your help and folks like Flagship Title and Brightway Insurance. These guys all ponied up. We all put in money. and we bought all this gear. We provided it free to our agents. And then we said, if you're a buyer and you want to go out and shop for homes, well, by gosh, we're going to give you masks. We're going to give you gloves and make sure you are safe going in every single house. If you were trying to sell your house, we made sure that we hung safety kits on the doors that had surgical masks, gloves, to make sure that any realtor that went inside their house to view it, that they could mask up, that they could glove up and make sure that they were as safe as possible. We felt we had an obligation to be able to do whatever we could to help. We put together health and safety questionnaires that I worked with my local doctor and said, hey, listen, I said, Doc, I said, how can we put together, what questions should we be asking? We put together in an electronic signature format, and we said, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, if you want to sell your home, listen, we understand that there's a need, but we want to keep you safe. So we put these safety kits out at their house for agents. We do the health and safety questionnaires for every agent and every buyer that's showing the property. And we're telling other agents, we're telling other brokers. I said, listen, this isn't about Align Right and Johnny Loewy, and this is about all of us pulling together to say, hey, listen, this is what we've got to do to keep the economy flowing, right? Because real estate, everything wraps around real estate, like it or not. It really, truly does. If the real estate market is up, economy is good. Real estate market takes a crap, it's not so good. Mm-hmm. So,
well, anyhow, I'll tell you, I thank you for the nice comments, but the truth is, I just wrote a check. What you did was incredible, and sometimes, it's in the worst of times. It's not like I'm making this up. I wish I knew who said this. I've tried to look it up, but I never can find out. It is in the worst of times. The true heroes come out. Your true personality comes out. It doesn't make a difference whether it's a pandemic or a divorce or a bankruptcy or a sickness in the family. It's easy to be a great guy when everything's good. It's when your back's against the wall and things look like crap. That's when your true personality comes out. And what you did that first few weeks when we were all worried, am I going to close any mortgages? Are you going to sell any houses? You did this in the very beginning. You didn't do it like you were hopping on a train and, following other people. So it was incredible, and your incredible team in the Tampa office.
It was all incredible. We could think to do. It was all we could think. We literally were racking our brains trying to figure out what we could do to keep things moving. It was all we could come up with, and I know it wasn't the end all be all, but it was something. It was something to be able to say, hey, enough is enough, man. Let's pull together. And that's what I'm talking about even right now with everything going on. Everybody can easily point the finger, right? Oh, that's what happened with us. We could point the finger and say, hey, please, Mr. Governor, Mr. President, save the real estate market for us. And we said we weren't going to do that. We said we're going to step up as people. We're going to step up and try to help our community. I think if we did that, if more people did that to try to step up and help their community, we wouldn't be in this position. I'm telling you, I'm going to get a post that says all lives matter, all of them.
You're so right about that. All lives do matter. I've been saying the last few shows that I've spent the last year and 4 months purposely trying not to let 62 Who Knew become political in too many ways, because you give an opinion on anything that's in the newspaper, you're pissing off half your audience. It's just that simple. But I've changed my mind on that the last few weeks. We're not going political, but still, I'm also not holding back myself or my guests. We're in very volatile times right now, and the truth is, all lives do matter. And I've said for many years,
step up and do the right thing, help each other. Instead
just help each other.
Here's the other thing. It was, this whole thing is terrible, terrible thing. But even the people who hold the phones to record something bad, who don't get involved, you're just as guilty holding the phone and recording it. Get involved. Take a stance, right?
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's very frustrating. I had my son-in-law is a police officer, and besides being my son-in-law, he's one of the finest young men I've ever met. And
he's a big dude. He's like 6'6".
Yes, and he is quite large. So you don't want to break a law in front of him. And he's
I'm
just,
5'2". I come up to his navel.
him and my daughter have been together since high school. They just had their third child. He's just a wonderful young man, whether he's a
Right.
cop or not. And we had a great conversation about that. And, talking about the cops that were watching it happen. And it's rough right now. And I said
I
this
said
at
to
the
my
end of
wife,
last-
if I were there, they would have shot me. She
Yeah.
goes, "Oh my God, you have to get involved in everything."
Yeah.
And that's true. If I see,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "Hey, what do you?" I said they would have shot me. I said they would have
Yeah.
shot me. I said I would have been arrested for. I said, but that would have been fine. I said if it would have stopped it. I said, but no, everybody's got to be there with the phone. I'm like,
Yeah. Well,
not with
yeah.
the phone.
Why
Go
not pick up
stand
that phone and dial 911 and say, I'm sorry, I'm watching a cop murder somebody here. Help. That would have got that cop's knee off that guy's neck.
Yeah.
It's rough. And you know what? It's,
Just the whole situation. Those cops.
you know, I made an example last week, or I gave an analogy, and I got some nice comments on it, and I got some not nice, but mostly nice. But if you remember, 20, 25 years ago, and I don't want to offend anybody, but about 25 years ago, it was discovered, that the Catholic Church did know about the priests that were molesting, children, and they didn't fire them. They sent them from church, from parish to parish. It came out. It was a terrible mark, for the church. But they had, and they're still doing it a little, but it came out and they had to police themselves. They had to let people go. I actually think, and there is no one that loves the police more than I. I was brought up by an old-fashioned greatest generation father. You respect that badge and the man or woman that is wearing it. And the amount of bad police is a very, very small percentage. But it's now time for the police to stand up, because they know the bad people. They know them, and say it's time to get out. And I know there's unions, and they have to worry about being sued, but it's now time for police to stand up and go, yep, that guy shouldn't have a badge and a gun. Get rid of him. I think that's what we need right now. And it would take care of a lot of the unrest in this country, because there's a lot of unrest in this country right now.
I
mean,
think
if
they
it can
should
put
take the cop
COVID-19
that did it and put them in a room with his family.
Yeah,
Let his family
I'd be
just-
okay with that. I'd be okay. And the cops that waited and watched,
Oh,
too.
that's not-
I'd be
sorry,
okay with that.
That's not good, but
I
anyway,
think they make you and I president. Maybe you and I go for president and vice president this year, because nobody likes who's running anyway. We could take care of this problem.
yeah, right.
We could
Oh
take care
my
of this
gosh, that wouldn't work
Everybody
for me.
be
I'm
nice to
only
each other.
5'2". They don't make podiums that short. I don't think I could see over any of the podiums to make any.
You'll have
debate.
presidential power. We'll increase them.
It's like
Well,
they have to
it has
work.
been a strange world. It's affected the mortgage market, long term. I mean, rates are great, but the cost of money is higher because
Sure.
the stock market and the bond market has been so volatile. Again, it's hard to believe. We've had
People
major
ask what I think
pains.
is going to happen with the real estate market if COVID goes into another spike, and I said, I think it'll slow down a little bit again. I said, but it's still going to stay going. It's still going to stay functioning. It's going to be a cleanse to the real estate community. What do I mean by that? A cleanse. I mean, I think that the agents who aren't really taking the business serious, I think that this could clean out those agents. Those agents have to really start, rolling up their sleeves and saying, hey, am I going to make this a career? Am I going to get out? Am I going to hustle? Am I going to talk to people and try to find a way to help people? Or am I going to, sit and say, hey, I'm going to wait for somebody to save my real estate world? I don't know that that's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I think for the ones who are hustling, they're out there working, they're connecting, and they're finding a workaround, if you will. I think those guys are going to do better than they ever did before.
Yes.
I've got some of our agents said that they are busier now than before COVID. And I have some agents who weren't doing any business before COVID and still not doing any business now. It comes down to the individual, right? So
Yeah,
same thing
always.
in every business. Same thing everywhere. There are, I have a friend of mine who owns a restaurant up here, and he said, with everything, there's a workaround. He said, I'm not going to kid you. The first 2 months, 2.5 months, we were a little nervous. He said, we figured out how to turn our business into takeout. He says, and we adjusted. He said, if you can adapt, you can survive. And it's about us all figuring out how to adapt. right? How to adapt. So for those of you guys who are shopping, I'd say, I think you're going to see another quarantine down the road. So
You do think so?
Start looking for a better house to be quarantined in.
What were you missing the last 3 months? We can fix this very quickly at a low interest rate. There's no doubt about it.
And my gosh, did you see interest rates down in the twos? Interest rates in the twos, Michael. I haven't seen interest rates in the twos like ever.
30, 40 years.
Oh my gosh, it's insane. So, I think for those of you guys who are out there, I think it's a perfect time to start thinking about refinancing. And, that's a question. My dad's 86 years old. Bless his heart. He's 86. He's single. I'm trying to get him married. He's like, I already went through 2 wives. I said, you got to go younger on the next one, Dad. I said, you got to go younger. So, but my dad, I said to him, I said, Pop, you should think about refinancing. And he goes, oh, well, I got 4 3/4. He's from New York. He goes, I got 4 3/4. He goes, it's a good interest rate. He goes, you got to let it drop 5% before you ever think about refinancing.
He wants it to go negative numbers.
Oh, my God, I'm telling you. I keep telling him, I said, Dad, we got to get you, reduce the payments down. I said, then you can have more money, you go out on dates. He goes, I don't want to go on dates. I go to the VFW hall. He says, I sing. Every so often, I dance with a couple of the nice ladies. I said, I know. I want you to dance more.
One of these days, we're going to have a cup of coffee with him and talk about a reverse mortgage, get rid of his payments, and take some pressure off.
I told him that. You know what he said?
I know.
Then I won't have anything to leave you. I said, I'm okay, Dad. Spend it. Spend all of it.
Yeah, that's right. Have fun. Yes. So you really think there could be another quarantine? I don't know if they'd be able to shut the country down. I think there may be the first revolts in 1776 if we try to close the country down again.
I'll tell you, I think they probably will, to tell you the truth. I kind of foresee it happening.
Wow.
I just do. I hope not, but I kind of foresee it happening. I just, watching the numbers, and I'll tell you, I'm watching our local mayor, and she's kind of, and I get it. Believe me, I get it. It's just, I'll tell you, I wouldn't want to be in office because no matter what answer you do or whatever it is you do, half of the people are going to hate you. I don't know. They said, John, what would you do? I said, gosh, I just don't know. In China, I can tell you, I have a friend of mine who is in China, and he said to me, he says, John, he says, they don't make all of you wear masks? And I said, no. He goes, do you know if we're caught on the street without a mask, we can be fined. We can be fined. Yeah, they're making everyone wear a mask. Everyone. I don't see anyone wearing masks out. I wear them everywhere I go. But I'm going to tell you, 95% of the folks are out there with no masks. I'm thinking, have you not been seeing the numbers?
There's still people out there going, it was all made up. It's nothing anyway. And I have some fairly intelligent people that I would consider intelligent going, it was all made up to begin with.
Yeah. Do you know, it was so funny, but I was in Walmart and I was shopping, and I think I told you the story. And I said, I'm going through my cart and I got my mask on and I'm heading over to the section the produce section, and I'm trying to get some Honeycrisp apples because, just for the record, they are the best apples. There is nothing. Red Delicious, Fuji, nope. Granny Smith, nope. Honeycrisp, all the way. So I'm making my way over to the Honeycrisp.
You had this apple knowledge.
Oh my gosh, I'm telling you. Hey, John, you got to be listening to this. So I start walking over to the apples, and the guy goes, I was like, you know what? I've been wanting to try those Granny Smith apples for quite some time. I'm just going to grab these apples over on the end cap. My wife goes, what happened to the Honeycrisp? I said, there was a guy coughing next to the Honeycrisp. I said, screw that. I'll take the Granny Smiths. He said, I don't want to take any chances.
I've been going out a little more than lately the last couple of weeks, but I'm cutting back again because of the numbers. But every time I went, I felt like I had to say out loud, just clearing my throat, nothing wrong, no problem here.
It's so true.
But you're right about the masks.
So I'm going to tell you guys, You know, if you guys are looking at the real estate market, here's what I'm going to tell you. There's a little bit less supply that's out there in the marketplace. So there's a little bit less inventory, not a ton, okay, but a little less inventory. So what does that mean, right? If there's less inventory, I hate to sound so cliche, but supply and demand, right?
Yeah.
So there's a little bit lower inventory. So what we're finding is, Michael, houses are actually selling for more money. They're selling for over list price. List price. I told the seller, he goes, well, you know, I might want to wait to put my house on the market for sale until after this whole COVID thing. I said, sir, I'm going to tell you, there is not a lot of homes on the market. I said, are new homes coming on the market? It's down about 12 to 14, 15%. I said, there was already just a shortage of inventory before COVID. Now there's more of a shortage of inventory. I said, sir, if you want to get top dollar for your home, now's the time.
Now's the time.
Now's the time. I said, because your home's going to bring multiple offers, providing it's, you know, priced within the realm. Now, we got another seller who priced his home $180,000 over, you know, what fair market value is. And he said, well, I know people are desperate. He said, someone from New York, they'll come down and give me my number. I don't know when people thought that New Yorkers were very wealthy and apparently very dumb.
Yes.
But
and blind. Yes.
And blind. Yes. So, but it's you know, the ridiculous numbers is not going to be, but paying top dollar, oh my gosh, it's definitely happening without a doubt.
No, one of your top people yesterday said, you know, Nancy Caballetta called me and said, quick, get me a pre-approval letter for $200,000. Clients that are already approved. We're offering full price. I'm sure we're going to get it. She called back this morning and said, make it 205.
Doubled. His numbers doubled from last month to this month. He said, Tony, I'm so busy. Yeah. So it's good stuff, you know. I think, you know, for everyone, the market's between your ears. It's what you think it's going to be. But luckily, it's moving. Things are happening. Prices are stable. If not, they're going up.
Right.
So, I mean, all in all, interest rates are down. I mean, we're awesome.
Yeah.
And I mean,
we're not having many appraisal problems. Some people predicted COVID might slow down the market. It hasn't. Our appraisals are fine.
And here's the other thing. If you can rally enough people together, you can buy a house and then do a mass takeover of rooms to go and just like pick out all the furniture, you know, and just like all, you know, get like 100, 200 people together, just do a mad rush of rooms to go. You know, then you furnish the house, and then we go up the street and we mad rush. What's the other store? Best Buy. Oh, we need electronics. We mad rush that.
We need electronics.
We furnish the house free, all free electronics and free stuff. It's all good.
All good. No, it's you know, it's like you said in the beginning. The people that were doing well before COVID-19,
they're going to continue
still doing well.
Yep.
Yeah, it's between your ears, like you just said.
Yep. The ones who are struggling are always going to be struggling. I always say a down market cleans out all the people who shouldn't be in the business. It really does. It separates the workers from the ones who are waiting for something to drop in their lap. You got to get out there and hustle. And by the way, for those of you guys, I'm going to do a little personal plug here. Anybody in the state of Florida, if you're looking to start a new career, our company, we just opened up the Florida Real Estate College. This is a course-credited college right here in the state of Florida. We're based here out of Tampa Bay. Great real estate college. You can become licensed as a real estate professional, a real estate agent, then take your advanced studies all the way up to being a broker. So for those of you guys who are in a changing career, or maybe you got furloughed, or you're trying to think of what can I do as a future career? Hey, listen, real estate's still moving. It's going to continue to move. But let me share with you, you got to hustle. You got to beat the streets. The work is not helping somebody to get into a house. The work is finding someone who you can help to get into a house. That's the work. The reward is actually being able to find the right house. So if you guys are looking for a new career, man, consider getting your real estate license, because we'll get you licensed. Matter of fact, Michael, we're giving out 100 scholarships free scholarships where someone can actually go to real estate school absolutely free, take the 63 hours. We'll get them licensed. We'll help them get their tests out of the way. We'll help them take their test, pass it.
That's incredible.
We'll train them, teach them, coach them, and get them started in a whole new career. So they can apply for the scholarship. We're really looking at people to write their personal story. Why do they want to get into real estate? What does it mean to them? We're not looking for someone who says, oh, I just want to make $1 million. I want people where being a real estate agent or a realtor of helping people to get into a new home means something to them. I'm looking for first responders, teachers. I'm looking for ex-military. I'm looking for folks who are looking for a new career, and we're giving out 100 scholarships to get your real estate license. So I'm pretty excited about that. Matter of fact, we're doing a big introduction to real estate, a 3-hour core law class on Saturday, March 11th, and then again on Saturday, March 18th, and that's at the West Shore Ramada. And it's $5 to take the course. We ran a Groupon special, $5 you get to take a 3-hour introduction, and it applies towards your real estate school. So, you know, some folks are in a tough situation, or maybe they don't want to retire. Maybe they're 62 and they said, who knew I would hate retirement?
That's right.
It could happen.
Well, who knew I wouldn't be able to afford to retire totally?
Yeah, this is some extra income. So it'd be a great opportunity for some of the folks out there. Matter of fact, John, if you want to pop my phone number on there, if any of you guys ever have any questions or I can be of service to you, just mention the show. Hey, I saw you guys on 62. Who knew? I'll know that it was my brother from another mother right over here, Mr. Michael Banner. Just a good friend and a great individual, helps a lot of friends. He did my mortgage. He actually got me into my home. I love my house. Michael, thank you. I love my home. He did the mortgage for the lady who bought my current home that I sold to be able to buy this home. So I'm very, very grateful and very blessed to be able to be here.
Well, I did plan on spending literally the last 8 minutes of the show, and there's 18 minutes left, on the uniqueness of Align Right Realty and its model, because it's, you know, I have unabashed pride in being part of it, being your friend, not just business associate. I want to talk about a couple more business things, but what you've done in the last couple of years is just incredible. And I don't know how many real estate companies can say they grew during COVID-19. Here's a part of your website that is just incredible. The training calendar that never stops. And this is not pre-recorded training, but I don't want to get too carried away right now. We're going to spend the last 8 minutes of the show on Align Right Realty. It's my pleasure to do that. I want to talk the next 8 minutes about a couple of markets, again, based on COVID-19. You know, this one's a little sad, to be honest with you. You know, the great majority of deaths in the nation has come from inside, you know, aged homes, living facilities, and nursing homes. No one argues that. You know, these turned out to be, you know, little senior prisons that no one could visit. They also turned out to be literally petri dishes for this disease to grow in. Obviously, no one planned that. But still, I think there's going to be a lot of seniors. I think it's happening right now that are going, you know what? I enjoy the bus to the mall. I enjoy the bus to the casino. I've made some good friends here, but I don't need this here. I'm not here for safety. I'm not here because I'm medically unfit or I'm not ambulatory. I need to be in a home because to think of all the people that got sick, not only is that disheartening, but to think that they were so sick and possibly passed away without being able to hold the hand of a loved one because no one was allowed in. I mean, they literally turned into prisons. And I don't mean that meanly, but they
My sister passed away.
So I think you're going to get I think COVID-19 is going to show us, I think for the next 10 years. Yeah.
My sister was in a nursing home because she had become ill and ended up passing away. And it was terrible. I mean, no family could get in. I mean, we could get in to see her, but it was tough. None of our other family could fly in to see her. And and it was terrible. I said she
So
had
sad to think of that.
and nobody got to fly down. My brothers, my sisters, nobody got to fly down to see her because nobody could travel. There was a ban on travel. So it was rough. It was rough.
Yeah.
Having lost a loved one during that time frame. Wow, it was pretty crummy. So anyway,
I think for the next 10 years, seniors that were thinking of going into an aged facility are going to go, I feel fine. Maybe I might have to find a great realtor to, find me a house with the master bedroom on the first floor, and I want to live near my doctors, but I don't think I want to go into a nursing home. I don't care that they're going to feed me. I think this is going to change the trend, COVID-19. And then, of course, with 7 minutes remaining until I turn it over to you in a line right.
I think really the reality is that after all of this, I think what you're going to find is that more and more people should be looking at that reverse mortgage because it allows you to stay in your own home. Then at least you can have additional revenue coming in that you can afford to stay in your own house. I don't get it. I talked to my dad and I said to my pop, I said, listen, you got to do this. And he said, I want to be able to leave the house to you guys. I said, Dad, if you do the reverse mortgage, the extra income, I said, it'll help you to be able to pay for, getting the house cleaned and someone could go shopping for you.
And you'll still get the house.
He goes, that's what I got you guys for. I said, Dad, I said, if you had this, be able to. So we don't mind. We love the old guy.
No, of course. And reverse mortgages have taken a huge spike during this time, again, for a sad reason. But
I got to tell you, for what I know about reverse mortgages, I can't believe that the federal government still insures and does these types of mortgages. It's kind of, and when I look at the money that the government loses on different loans that they guarantee, did you see what they lose on the reverse? Yeah. There's not a profit center there.
and there's six, and I don't want it to turn into be too self-promoting for me. I'll just make one more statement. There's $6 trillion in equity right now in people's homes 62 years and above. And if we could release that equity, give these seniors a better style of life, they're not saving that money. They're going on, well, they're not now, going on cruises, but they're spending that money. We'd have no economic problems.
Back in the 80s, though, you remember when I got into business in the early 90s, when I got in, I had remembered to talk about the reverse mortgages, the old reverse mortgages with, what was that guy, Jack? Who used to do the old
Jack
Jack Wagner? Was that him?
No, Robert Wagner.
Robert Wagner. I couldn't remember the guy's name.
That's right.
And those sucked. Those were not.
They were dangerous.
They could get. Matter of fact, I know folks who were in those types of mortgages that came to me and said, "My husband died, and they're kicking me out of the house. I can't stay there." Well, and it didn't have a survivorship to the wife or to the spouse. I should say for the wife because it could be to either. But it didn't have the survivorship to the spouse. And I said, oh my God, all these people are getting forced out of their homes. Not so much, but I can tell you, it's that mindset because they remember what happened back in the late 80s, early 90s. And my dad says the same thing. Oh, I remember those. I remember them. I said, Dad, I'm your son. I wouldn't steer you down the wrong path. You're fine. No one's going to make you leave your house. I said, you could get married and marry a 23-year-old from another country, and she could stay there for the. Okay,
we could have her FedExed over. Yeah,
I'm kidding about the 23-year-old.
Yes, I know.
36. Okay, 36. I'm kidding. I'm still kidding. 42.
Yeah.
No.
You know, I'm on my fourth wife now. My first wife died of eating poison mushrooms. My second wife died of eating poison mushrooms, and my third wife died of a concussion. She wouldn't eat her damn mushrooms. But yes, I couldn't help that. And to our viewers, I'm not married and I'm not on my fourth wife. Blah, blah, blah.
Oh my
so that was just a joke. Okay. So in the few minutes remaining before we go into a line right full force, I think there's another market that has been decimated by COVID-19, and that's the commercial office space. We now have people like myself who now realize, and let's face it, I'm a little guy, that they don't need 10,000 square feet or 20,000 square feet. People can work from home. They can be productive. And I think and I think this whole country, when people's leases come due, and I don't care if you're in a skyscraper in New York or Chicago or Los Angeles, and you say to your landlord, sorry, I don't need 10,000 square feet, I need 2. We haven't felt that yet, but the world learned the lesson. We can all work from home. I don't like it, but we can do it.
Do you know, I'll tell you, we're seeing it. We're seeing the commercial real estate market is starting to...
It is already?
Oh, yeah. It's already starting to move and shake. What I can share with you is that you're exactly right. First off, you're going to see tons of restaurants that aren't able to survive. So you're going to see a lot of restaurant retail space becoming available, without a doubt. I would say that's probably the first thing that's going to take the major hit. In addition to that, you're exactly right. Business owners are seeing that some of their folks can work from home. I'm not a big fan of working from home. I'm not a big fan of my staff working from home. We certainly did what we had to do to try to get through and keep everyone safe. Now we have people in different parts of the office and kind of segregated. Everybody's wearing masks, and we do our best to keep everybody as safe as possible. But I'm going to tell you the commercial market is definitely hit. We have, we have the space right next to one of our offices. They had another business was set to move in. And I saw work, and then all of a sudden all the work stopped. And I said to the landlord, I said, hey, is our neighbor moving in? He said, oh, no, they put everything on hold. I said, oh, okay. And I'm noticing there's a lot of different, matter of fact, I just went to get a haircut earlier today, which I was a little late doing the pre-test. But I went in to get my haircut, and I said to my barber, I said, hey, wasn't there an Allstate right in here? He goes, oh, yeah, they closed. I said, you're kidding me. I said, wasn't there a pool company over here? He said, oh, yeah, they closed. I said, my gosh. I said, what about the little restaurant over there? And he says, closed. I said, wow. Just unbelievable to me. Yeah, we're going to have a massive increase on commercial space. So why should you all be listening to that? If you have some equity sitting around in your home, your equity's not doing you any good. Take out some of that equity. Give me a call. I'll put you on with one of my army of agents, and let's get you investing into some commercial real estate property. You're going to be able to buy it for a great price because of the market current condition. And I believe that we're going to see a bigger dip on the commercial market side than we will on the residential market side. Absolutely. Just my thought.
No, I absolutely agree. And when it hits the little strip centers, it hurts, Main Street. But I think there's going to time in a couple of years where you're going to be walking in a major city and major buildings are going to be half empty. And that, I think this is going to have the ripple effect, the butterfly effect, for years to come, this COVID-19. All right, so with about 5 minutes left.
Here's the other thing. Here's what else I believe, too, though. When you have things like this happen, right, what happens when, do you ever do any gardening?
Any who?
Any gardening. Do you garden outside? Do you ever, tinker around with plants?
I'm Jewish. We have a gardener.
Okay. Well, if you trim up and you prune up a tree, right, and you prune down a tree, well, what happens? As soon as you prune it back, right, it looks like it's sparse, right? You go, oh, my gosh, gee whiz, there's just nothing left. But then what happens? It starts to feed and starts to grow back even stronger than it was. So while I do believe that there's going to be a lot that are going to suffer from this, I believe the outcome will be is that we will be stronger than we ever were before. And I'm always going to believe that, hey, we're Americans, man. We're going to.
That's how it works. People don't realize that, but that's how it works all the time. Okay, I don't know if you can do this in 5 minutes. I've never seen you do this in 5 minutes. But I say this all the time. Being in business, in the mortgage business, 38 years. I was here when RE/MAX came. I was here when Keller Williams came. I was here when Exit Real Estate came, Prudential. Of course, Century 21 has been around since I'm a little kid with their gold jackets. I was told they don't do the gold jackets anymore. I have never, ever, ever seen, and that's why I chased you for so long, I have never seen a model like what you have created with Align Right Real Estate. And I know you're now approved for national franchising in a record time. You're in the top 10 of, of our area. Tell us a little bit about what makes it so special. Go.
When we created Align Right Realty, we realized that the consumer had to have the best experience that they possibly could. Well, how can the consumer have the best experience? Well, we built our company where most build it from the top down. We built it from the bottom up. What we wanted to make sure is that the consumer had a great experience. Well, how can we make sure that the consumer has a great experience? Take care of the agent. The agent is the assets of any real estate company. They are the footline soldiers. Being ex-military myself, I can tell you the footline soldiers are some of the most important people that you could have as part of your army. So what I can share with you is that as realtors look at this business, they see two types of real estate brokerages that are out there. They see 100% brokerages, which pay them 100% of their money, and then they see split companies. Now, for the general public looking at this, they say, well, what's a split company? Realtors can go to work for a company, and a company will take a large portion of their money. Some of these other companies that are out there will take 30% of their money, plus additional franchise fees. And at the end of the day, the agent is left with this much money. And sometimes it's hard for the agent to have the right resources to be able to do the proper job that they need to do because somebody's constantly in their pocket taking their money. And it's a lot of these big box brand companies. I'm never surprised when I hear these things. So what we did with Align Right, we put together a hybrid model. We realized that agents needed to be able to retain 100% of their commissions and get paid all of their commissions because they'll work harder. They'll be able to do a better job for their client. So we provide the agents phenomenal training. We train our agents on a daily basis. We teach our agents how to be better structured realtors and how to be able to go out there and change people's lives. We also have a full-time graphic designer and a full graphic design department that does nothing but create graphics for our realtors and graphics for our homeowners who are trying to sell their properties. We also realized early on that not every agent could be a graphic designer, so we made sure to provide that for them. Number three, we knew we had to have cutting-edge technology, Michael. We were competing against some of the big boys in the marketplace, and if we were going to compete with them, we had to outflank them. And to outflank them meant we had to give better technology, better marketing capabilities, not only for the agent, but for the consumer as well. Fourth, we knew that our agents needed to have leads. We knew that they needed to be able to have a steady stream of business because if they were stressed, they were going to perform less. If we keep them happy and we keep a steady stream of business coming in and we don't put our hands in their pocket and nickel and dime them and charging them for copies and leads and all this, we provide it to our agents free. Number five, we create an incredible culture for our agents to work in. We want them to always feel like they're part of our family. We do monthly family fun nights where we invite our agents and all of their families. During COVID, do you know we've done family fun nights and actually had pizza? Well, you know because you helped us. We had pizza
that was incredible
to everybody's home. We did Align Right's Got Talent. We did fun nights. We take them out bowling, to comedy clubs, all sorts of things because we love our people. And what we feel is if we love our agents will love their consumers and their customers and will get repeat business. We knew early on, Michael, that the agent was the window that they saw our company through. So if we could make them better trained, better branded, make sure that they had the best technology and that they had a steady stream of business, they would be able to perform better for every single person that's out there, making sure that Align Right Realty continues to grow across North America. So I'm super excited.
And it is incredible. And I have to say, before we knew each other so well, I think I called to speak to you maybe about 18 months, 2 years ago. And the person on the phone went, well, Johnny's out door knocking with the new people. I said, you mean he's teaching a door knocking class? She goes, no, he's out door knocking with the people that just got licensed. And I'm thinking to myself, one of the best realtors in North America, he's literally taking people that just passed the test and knocking on doors. And what's more amazing about that, not that just you do it, is that I then speak to these people and go, I picked up 2 sales. I don't even know how. Johnny did all the talking. What do I do now, Michael? I go, well, now we get them to the website, we get an application, and we approve them for their mortgage. But You know,
it's so much fun because
it would be
they build it up and they think it's going to be so much tougher. And when you get right down to it and you say, hey, no, really, it's easier than you think. It's a lot of fun. And when you see their face and they come alive, they're like, oh my God, I just got to help somebody. I go, that's what it's about. That's the feeling. That's why we do what we do. So if you guys want to get licensed as a realtor, send me a letter. Tell me why you want to get licensed. I'd love to give you a scholarship.
All right. There's less than 40 seconds left, so I'm going to do this as quick as I can. We were having a sales meeting about 6 months ago in the some hotel in Tampa. People were telling success stories, and so many people had tears in their eyes that when I went to the desk just to pay for my iced tea, people came to me and said, is that like a funeral home or a funeral director thing? I saw so many people crying. It was unbelievable. People crying at one of your meetings saying, thank you. I never thought I'd have a life like this. You're doing incredible things, my friend, and you always do. You work from your heart. 7 seconds left. Thank you, everybody. We have got great shows in the rest of June. Thank you so much, Johnny. I appreciate you being here. Thank you, John.